Hey everyone, welcome back. So if you're just starting the Kubernetes, this video is for you. So before you learn the deployment, service and scaling, you need to understand one thing first, the pod. Because in Kubernetes, everything runs inside a pod. So in this video, we will cover what is pod, why does Kubernetes use pod instead of container, and how a pod is different from container and the virtual machine. So let's get started. Okay, so what exactly a pod? A pod is the smallest deployable unit in the Kubernetes. If you have used Docker before, in Docker you run the container directly. But in Kubernetes, you never run the container directly. Instead, you always wrap a container inside a pod. So a pod can hold one container or multiple container inside it. In most of the real cases, one pod is equal to one container, and that is standard. But Kubernetes also support multiple containers inside the same pod, and we will cover that in the separate video. Now let me give you a very simple example to understand the pod. Think of Kubernetes as a hotel manager. Now a hotel manager does not manage the individual guest directly. The manager manages the rooms, and room has electricity, water and room number. And the guest living inside the room share all of those things. So in Kubernetes, hotel manager is equal to Kubernetes, room is equal to pod and guest is equal to container. So a pod is like a shared room where one or more containers live together and share the resources like network and storage. Simple, right? Now you might be thinking, why can't Kubernetes just manage the container directly? So why do we need pod? A container alone does only one thing. It's run your application. But Kubernetes need to do much more things just run the container. A Kubernetes need to handle networking, which will give you the IP address for the application, storage, attach the volume for your application, scheduling, decide which machine to run on, monitoring, check if the application is healthy, scaling, run more copy when needed, and self-healing, restart the application if it crashes. So a container alone cannot do all of that. So Kubernetes introduce a pod, a high level unit that container actually manage. Think of this way, a container run your application and a pod help Kubernetes to manage that containers. Simple, right? Now let's compare all of three side by side. So first we have a virtual machine. A virtual machine has a own operating system, it has a own kernel, own memory and everything. And because of that, VM is heavy, consume lot of resources and take minute to start. Next, we have a containers. A containers does not have a own operating system. Instead, it shares the host operating system kernel. And that's make container lightweight, fast to start, and much in smaller size. Next, we have a pod. Pod is not a replacement for the container. Pod is a Kubernetes object that wrap one or more container and give Kubernetes a single unit to manage. So let's summarize it clearly. So virtual machine has a own operating system, but container and pod share the host operating system. Virtual machine are managed by the hypervisor, container are managed by Docker, and pods are managed by the Kubernetes. Virtual machine are heavy, while container and pods are lightweight. Virtual machine take minute to start, but container and pods start within the seconds. Virtual machine run a full operating system, a container run the application, and pod helps Kubernetes to manage the container. In one line, VM is equal to heavy, full operating system, container is equal to lightweight application runtime, and pod is equal to Kubernetes wrapper that manage the container. So let's quickly recap. A pod is the smallest deployable unit in the Kubernetes. Kubernetes manages the pod, not container directly. A pod wrap one or more container and provide them shared networking and storage. Most of time, one container is equal to one pod, and that is standard. That's all for the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in next video.